That's much better. Good evening, and welcome to the Jamie's congested Sunday thing. I'm your host, Jamie. Hey, everybody. Oh, you're all here right on time. That's weird. Lovejoy, are you driving this week? You're always driving somewhere. What's going on, Stacy? Hey, JMR. Dan. Lucas Krupa. Rich Jordan. Heyo. And, of course, Big Wrench Doggy is here to do the thing. There might be a lot of that. My wife got the sickness last weekend, and I knew it was coming. But it hit me like, I don't know, Thursday morning. I was just not having it anymore. And it's been several days of that. So yesterday, I never put on pants. I didn't even do my ponytail. I just sat around all day and edited video, mostly. Good afternoon, Scott. How you doing there? Howdy, All Praise. All Praise says, howdy, I'm here, for the thing. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Bob's here and says, Sunday fun time kicks off. Here it is. Ross says, you can sing country songs through your nose now. Yeah, funny enough, I just remembered a song that I wrote a long time ago. For some reason, I was thinking about that time that my brother and a couple friends and I hopped in a Toyota Corolla, drove to Los Angeles, and played one show in a tiny bar on a teeny tiny stage. And we wrote songs to do this. It was a totally different thing than our normal bands. And it was called, well, it was supposed to be called Uncle Drew and the Asshat Brigade, but my brother doesn't swear, so we changed the name to Funkle Drew and the Donkey Sombrero Brigade. It's good stuff. We're on a poster. I've got it somewhere. Anyway, I was thinking about a song that I wrote for that, and I would play it. But I can't. I just can't. I did not miss your howdy. I clicked on you first, and I asked if you were driving this week. I wouldn't do that to you. The tape, let the record show I responded to your comment before anyone else's howdy. Lucas Krupa says, got the 79 W300 running tonight. So excited. Awesome. Super cool. I've had a pretty great weekend myself, other than being horribly, miserably sick with these two videos that I got up that seem to be popular. So that's cool. Thursday, I got that 300 revived. And Friday, I got to drive that Barracuda and actually drive it. The first drive in the Barracuda video that I posted today was like 3 weeks ago, I think. 2 or 3 weeks. I'm not sure. It took me a long time to put that video together. But the first drive was terrifying. The second drive was very enjoyable. Anyway, so other than being miserable, I had a decent couple days. And then it was total rest and relaxation yesterday. And then today I had to get up and do mail trucks. So it's back to life. Anyway, congratulations. That's awesome. Rich Jordan says, everyone here had it over the last few weeks. Yeah, it's filtering through. No one ever warns you before you get it and says, hey, you're going to get sick. Everyone's sick. Just be ready. But that's the word I've heard. Isn't that amazing? Stacy says pants are highly overrated, and I'm inclined to agree. Donnie says, rule number 1. Excuse me. Don't die. Dan says, need a downtime day now and then. Yeah, I take, 2 or 3 a year. I should do a whole lot more relaxing than I usually do. That's what this operation's really missing. But, raging workaholic, working rageaholic, whatever. Oh, and by the way, we stayed at McMenamin's last weekend. I think I mentioned that. Kennedy School in Portland, which is awesome. If you're in that neighborhood, the restaurant is amazing. And if you're visiting that neighborhood, I highly recommend it. But I will say it was expensive before. Oh my God, is it expensive now? But my drink of choice at the McMenamin's is the blackberry cider. And they sell it in the gift shop in tall boy cans, so I had to get some of them. Scott Day says, my girl got sick last week. Now I've been sick for 3 days, but sick time is YouTube time. Yep, that's where I'm at. At least we're all doing it together. You know what I mean? Darren Hebert's here with us and says, hello from Eastern Canada. Hello from Western Washington, America, or whatever. The States. Lovejoy says, my bad. No, this week I'm actually home for once. Nice. That Barracuda is gorgeous. Yeah, I'm assuming we've got a lot of fans of that Barracuda here in the group. That thing is incredible. Mitchell put together quite a package. He certainly doesn't seem to be afraid to put money into the car. I mean, just the suspension and the stuff that's in that engine. And it's incredible. It still needs to be finished. It still needs the sway bars, subframe connectors, permanent fuel and brake lines. Like, there's a lot to be done, but at least it's in a drivable state now. And man, it's cool. And yeah, it's quite a looker. Quite a looker. I'll tell you what, that video is doing very well too. I mean, it's, of my recent videos, it's number one by far. But the interesting thing is, oh, Rich Jordan just commented on that before hopping in here, I think. The interesting thing here, well, perfect. All of the love for the 79 Chrysler 300. I'm very much surprised by that. Kind of the same as the Volare, because I've always looked at those later cars as, yeah, it's not a 68 Charger or a 70 Dart Swinger. Why would I want that? But yeah, I've kind of gained an appreciation for it. And apparently many other people have the same, because that video has over 6,000 views in a day, which is like quite a lot for me usually. So yeah, but Rich Jordan's comment was, those were some striking looking cars. I've never had one, but I'd not turn down a chance to have one, especially a sweet exclusive one like that. Love the B-body Magnums too. Yeah, me too. And I've mentioned this several times. There's a Cordoba in my town that has the round lights. The Chrysler Monte Carlo. At least it's not quite as ugly, but close. I have to agree with you, my friend. They're good looking from a certain perspective, in a certain light. Anyway, yeah, there's a round light Cordoba in my town I'd like to own. McMenamin's. It's not quite spelled like that, but it is apparently said like that. They're all amazing, but holy crap, are they expensive. Timothy Russell is here with us. What's up, Timothy Russell? How you doing? Oh, Dan says they used to be friendlier priced. Yeah, I know. Yeah, we've stayed at a handful of them. Well, a few of them at least, anyway. And they've never been cheap, you know, but not outrageous. But man, Kennedy School was nuts. I can't believe how much it cost. I'm ashamed to even think about how much it cost. It cost just about all the money I made last week, by the time you figure in meals and drinks and fuel. Yeah. Scooter's here with us and says, hello from America. Yes. Ross says, whiskey, honey, lemon, and tea. Hot. Malt beverages won't help your shit. I know. Of course, for medicinal use only. Yeah, yeah. Jamar says A-Body wins again. Yeah, pretty much. Again, I'm surprised by how well the late B-Body is doing comparatively. Those two videos are two of my most popular videos in the last, 2 months. Other than all the cam failure stuff. The cam failure stuff, people got kind of excited about. People love failure, basically. Same reason my drag racing videos do well. But yeah. No one said anything about that Challenger video on Friday. Anheuser-Busch. This is made by McMenamins, produced and canned by McMenamins at Edgefield Winery in Troutdale, Oregon. So, not so much. Interesting. I don't know what's in your picture. Michael Adamo is here with us. Hello, Michael. How you doing? Oh, things moved. Lovejoy says that 79 is exactly my flavor of junk. I want it. Yeah. Well, it's available. I've already had several people reach out to me and be like, hey, what are you doing with that? That's interesting. I'd like to get the brakes functional. And it's got paperwork problems. That's why it was so affordable. So got to get that figured out. Brent Forte says, unlimited budget build is what I dream of. You know, I get that, but it's not really what I dream of. I like budget stuff. It's limiting in a certain way. I just find it interesting, you know. Bucks up builds are neat. You know, just being able to throw whatever you want at it, that is cool. And I really do like the selections that he made on that car. It didn't get, coilovers. It didn't get crazy altercation or whatever. It got those nice stock type upgrade pieces and a really nutso 360. So yeah, I think great choices were made on that one. He could have gone crazier, I guess, but it's cool and I appreciate it. And I've gotten to be around some builds like that. But I like cheap stuff. You know, you can have a lot of fun and not have to worry so much about what you got into it. Big Wrench says, I mean this very lovingly. You sound like pure anus. Sidebar. What year did they drop the name Barracuda to Cuda and why? Okay. I told you I know the answer to this kind of, and here it is. They didn't. The Cuda was a separate package. Cuda was a performance package. Now, people use it as a shortened name, because we can't be bothered to say Barracuda. And I'm fine with that. Any Barracuda can be a Cuda. But for ease of speech. But purists get really serious about that stuff. A Barracuda is not a Cuda. In the e-bodies, they actually have different VINs. Barracuda and Cuda are technically two different models, kind of, but they're the same body, so, whatever. But yeah, 1969, Cuda became the name of the performance package. Before that, it was the Formula S. I don't think Formula S means anything, but I kind of like it. It's neat. But yeah, anyway, 69 Cuda was the sporty package and ditto 70 through 74 on the e-body car. There was the Barracuda line and the Cuda line. So yeah, they were the performance ones, the spicy ones. Now, interestingly enough, Cuda stuck around till the end. You could get a 340 Cuda in 73, a 360 Cuda in 74. The RT was the spicy Challenger. RT went away after 71. Then you could only get a Rally. That's what mine was. So, yeah, they never dropped the name Barracuda. The Barracuda was always the base car. Oh, cool. Okay, now I'm reading ahead. All's forgiven, Tim. Forgiven? Damn it. Are any of you guys still playing the Dead Dodge Garage drinking game? I am. Although mostly it's for my throat today. It should have been whiskey. I'll keep that in mind for next time. Oh, Donnie also says, don't forget to hit the like, folks. Do it. It does things to make happy things. Michael says, they're good-looking cars in a 70s kind of way. Yeah, totally agree. They're they're growing on me. It's interesting. It wasn't my thing. I still can't necessarily say it is my thing, but the thing I like about that 79 is the curves. It still has the Coke bottle thing, and I didn't really get to bring this up in the video, but you look down the side of that thing, it is noticeable. That's pretty cool. Monte Carlo doesn't have hips like that. Alt Praise says, I too used to look down on the late 70s Mopars in contempt. Now I'd love to own one, especially the 78 and 9 Magnums. Yep. Yeah, as time goes on, I've said this about like late Dusters. Late Dusters used to be worthless. Now people like them. People build them. People save them. They're worth something, which is kind of weird. People used to hate on the shark-nosed darts all the time, and now people build them, you know, and they're cool cars. I don't mind them, but I never really did. The late A-bodies are what I started with, and I kind of always thought they were cool. But Valaris and that 300, yeah, I didn't think much of those. But now I am becoming enlightened. Timothy Russell says, my brother drove a 300 in high school. It's sitting in my yard right now. Awesome. Cool. Ross says, not to plug someone else, have you seen Dylan McCool's Dart GT? I haven't. I read ahead. I haven't actually watched the video yet. Has he done 2 videos on it? Because someone linked me one like a week or 2 ago, and I couldn't remember who they were then, and then they told me, and now I've forgotten again, and I apologize. But that's just what I'm like. So I've seen the car, but I haven't seen his videos. Lovejoy says, I was kind of waiting for you to tell us you bought it. No, I am broke. I am very, very broke. Because I already bought everything else. Recall, I was trying to sell possibly my Power Wagon, possibly some other things I really don't want to sell to pay for a Coronet. And it's still here. I'm storing it for the family while I try to figure out if I can buy it or not. But because I needed to make that happen, it hasn't happened. So, yeah. Probably as soon as that car leaves, things will start coming up Millhouse again. But yeah, I'd really like to have that Challenger. Yes, Brent, the yellow now white, except it's not. It's primer gray. And excuse me, I swear I said that in the video, but several comments have said, no, man, the white looks great. I love the white on it. It's primer gray in a layer of dust. I mean, obviously it's in a poorly lit barn, so we can't really see. So again, it's just interesting. I guess because I was there, I know what it is, but people seeing it on video think it's white. It's not. It's in primer. But if I bought it, I would be very tempted to paint it white. I never thought a Vanishing Paint car, clone, especially with a late car, would be cool before. But now I think it would be. And everyone says it looks good white. I don't like yellow. And if I had a white Challenger, then I would have a red Charger, a blue Demon, and a white Challenger. Red, I did that in the wrong order. Red, white, and blue. Anyway, and I love America, so. Yep, might have to happen. But again, I mean, a lot of moving parts. Scott Day says, it's not that they love failure, it's that they love to see the reaction on what you're going to do to fix it. Well, yeah, you may be right. It's just they appear to love failure, like a train wreck, can't look away. Dan says, yeah, Edgefields at the old Multnomah County Poor Farm. Huh. Interesting. I didn't know that's what it was, but yeah, they have a whole complex thing there. Nice. Yep. I don't think I'm going to have a voice for another hour and a half, so we'll see how this goes. Avon's here with us. Hello, Avon. How's it going with you? I feel like it's been a while. I feel like you missed a live or 3. You were here for like half of the last one, right? I don't remember things gooder, but I feel like you missed a couple, which is weird. Bob says, Jamie, I was just so happy to see the Challenger getting some video time. I forgot to thank you for putting it up. Oh, yeah. It was just a quick one. I wish I could have gotten it out and driven it, but that's okay. If I buy it, I'll have plenty of opportunities to do that. Jason Umbright's here with us again and says, hey there. You mentioned a Newport in today's video. Yes, you must do a video of it. What year is it? It is a 1964 Newport four-door hardtop. And I started a video on it. So, I can delete this one now because I actually transferred it to the computer. Snot's happening. Disgusting. And this one, actually, yeah, that's fine. Don't care. Turns out you can copy videos from your phone and move them to the computer version of iMovie, which is amazing. Anyway, I started this video so long ago. It's on my phone right there. Incredible. So I'm doing a video of it. It's just that I haven't worked on it in 6 months. 5 months anyway. Brent Forte says, I like cheap stuff too. It's my life. But if I could build one, I'd like to know what that's like. Not to worry about the price at least once in my life. Yeah, I totally understand. There was only one time I didn't have to worry about the price of something, and it's when I bought my Charger. And of course, I've told everyone the story of how that happened. 2 good decisions in life. That's how that happened. But I'm not in that position now. You know, I was briefly, not now. Yeah, I try not to worry about it, but I also try to keep my aim low enough. You know what I mean? I'm really big on you know what I mean right now. I don't know why. Things just come and go like that. Anyway, I totally understand what you're saying. Just once. Rich Jordan says, almost everything I didn't like in the late 70s Mopars was due directly or indirectly to government imposition. Yeah. Totally. It's something about we need less emissions and better fuel economy, so let's cut compression ratios. Let's choke these engines and make them... Yeah, anyway, there were some bad decisions made, is what I'm trying to say. Oh, right. Yes, there are 2 Dylan Dart vids. Yes. I haven't seen either of them, but someone linked me the first one. I might have watched 20 seconds of it. But yeah. My sister's here and says, yo! Remind me not to do that again. Donnie says, if you want to sell your early Barracuda, I might know a guy. Me. A guy. My 66, it's this weird deal. Basically, it's been in the family for quite a while. I traded my 70 Swinger for it in 2014, right before my wife moved in. Had it for a bit, sold it to a friend who sold it to a friend. Then I got it back from that friend. And then I sold it to a friend. And then he sold it to his brother. And then he sold it back to me. So 9 years now, it's just been bouncing around in my friend circle. And I basically, the last time I bought it, I was only allowed to do so with the caveat that I would sell it back to the previous brother when he was ready and I was done with it. So, no, sorry. But if I find another good one that's worth shipping to Florida, I'll let you know. I shouldn't even say this, but that gold one that I had, like that I sold a couple months ago, what I sold that for, plus the shipping to get it to you, oh man, that would have been worth it. Sorry. Tim says, I miss my AMC Javelin SST 1969, built 289, the best of that year. I think 67 up, 69 have the flat front wheel fenders. Interesting. I don't know a whole lot about those. I know they're neat and special, but I've never really gotten into the AMC stuff. The most I know about AMC is Jeep. Ross wants to know, can one of those late 70s B-bodies conveniently be made to have the correct number of pedals? Sure. Yeah, looks to me like all of the important stuff there is exactly the same as E-body 71 to 74 B-body. I took the clevis assembly off of the 73 Charger and bolted it right onto that car. So the pedal box is the same. And the BEs, they have like that separate little brace that comes off the side. I don't know that it has the dimples in the firewall where you would drill the holes. Maybe it does. I'd have to look. I would have to look. But yeah, it's definitely possible, Ross. Absolutely, it's possible. It wouldn't be hard. All the parts are there from earlier cars. Stacy says, I tell you, man, if I had the spare cash, this year's vacation would consist of heading your way and driving that 300 home. Yeah, well, you know, it won't be super expensive. I told you what it needs, you know, brakes and paperwork. Nice. Someday. Hey, I see 42 of you are out there now. That's great. Thanks for being here and suffering with me. I have very little voice and a fair bit of misery, but I figured I might as well get on here and do the thing. So if you don't mind, please hit the like on the live stream because that does stuff. It helps me in my quest for world domination. Speaking of which, we're doing pretty well on that front this weekend. I'm now up to 9,624 subscribers. Not bad. And both of the videos I posted this weekend are doing quite well. David Keaton says, talk a little bit about the other 6465 Barracuda, the white one in the video. I'm going to assume he's not here with us, so I'll respond to that comment later. But he's referring to the other Barracuda that I showed in today's video. That is my 66, the garbage can Cuda, which I was just talking about. Anyway, Lovejoy says, I'd like to get my hands on a Cordoba someday. Yeah, they're still out there. Some. This is the first of the breed I've ever had. I actually made a crack. I pulled up next to the Volare at the end of the wee little test drive. And I said, oh yeah, the Volare, a contemporary of this car, and just as ugly. And I went ahead and cut that out. I didn't want to sound too negative, you know? Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I stand corrected. It's just, you were gone 1 week and it just felt like a lifetime. I even says the only life I've ever missed was a couple weeks ago. I had surgery that Wednesday, pretty much slept most of Sunday. And that is understandable. I had like whatever this is starting late Wednesday, early Thursday, and I should be sleeping now. So surgery, it's a good excuse. Oh, but I certainly haven't been talkative. Well, that's okay. We appreciate you being here. Mopar 73 Duster is with us again and says, what's the difference between non-roller 318 LA and roller 318 LA? Okay. Immediate, obvious, important difference. There are no holes for the roller spider retainer thingy on the non-roller block. There are little bosses with drilled, tapped holes to mount that thing. So that's obvious. I believe the lifter bores are also taller. The roller lifter is much taller. Obviously, the main body of it is pushed up off of the cam to account for that roller down in the bottom. So the lifter bores on a Magnum engine, and I assume a roller engine would have to be the same. The lifter bores are taller. So that's about it. Everything else is the same. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else. I think it's just that. And just fun trivia while we're talking about it. Early Magnums are exactly the same as roller LAs. They even still have the oil port drilled to go to the shaft rockers that they do not have. And that spot is just blanked at the head. The only difference is they have the extra pad added on the back to mount the crank sensor. I don't know what year the side mounts were added, the Magnum, the truck style mounts. Probably whatever year Dakota's got V8s. And I think that was with the Magnum. Were there any TBI V8 Dakotas? I don't think so. So probably with the Magnum. But that would be the only other difference. They're functionally exactly the same. And one of those early Magnums, you can bolt LA heads right on. Works perfect. So, yeah, not a very big difference there. Amy Harville says, Jamie, NyQuil and Dayquil will be your best friends. Love, Nurse Mrs. Big Wrench Tack. Yes, you're definitely right. I've been doing whatever cold medicine Mrs. Jamie has in stock. Technically not Dayquil or NyQuil, but it's been working for me pretty well. I'm definitely on the mend today. I felt mostly normal, super congested, bit of a sore throat, and my stomach's been a little strange, but excuse me. Otherwise, I'm feeling a lot better. Michael Adamo wants to know, what are they asking for the coronet? Well, I don't think I could share that information. They valued it for estate purposes at $30,000. That was optimistic. And that's, I think, all I can say. Benjamin C. says, hello, new to the chat and the channel. Excellent content. Awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate you being here with us. We do this every Sunday, so welcome to it. I'll assume you probably saw one of my 2 videos this weekend and liked what you saw. So that's pretty cool. If you have any feedback, I'd love to hear it. I'd be curious to know what brought you here, but thanks. Jason Umbright says, speaking of the government restrictions, the Little Red did have the same engine as the 300, but had a bit more horsepower because less smog stuff. Yes, I learned this yesterday after I released the video. It turns out there are 3 different versions of the E58 360. There's the 360 HP, which is what is in the 79. There's the 360 heavy duty, which is the cop car engine, and it's rated in almost exactly the same. And then there is the special order 225 horse, and that's the Little Red engine. I wonder, here's where I'm foggy. I said that the E58, the engine in the 79, has a special camshaft. I read somewhere that it does. Someone got on there and told me, no, it doesn't. It has the same basic 360 camshaft. It just has the 4-barrel and a windage tray and a dual roller timing chain, and that's pretty much it. I don't know if that's true or not. So now I'm wondering if the Little Red engine has the more aggressive cam, but maybe it doesn't. I don't know, and I couldn't confirm that anywhere. But funny enough, while I was searching around on the internet trying to get confirmation of what cam is in this damn thing, I actually tripped over some of Stacy's comments on a forum from ages ago when he had his Cordoba, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I probably should. I had researched the 300, the 79 a good bit before I made the video, but I could have done a little bit more homework. That's pretty much how these things go. JMR actually has an interesting question that I really expected to hear more today. Did your buddy forgive you on that whole Dodge truck debacle? In the call, when I talked to him the night that I had posted it, he actually, it was funny. Last week's live stream, the call that I got in the middle of the live stream was from him. And I called him back after. And needless to say, he sounded crushed. And I was like, oh my God, I feel like a complete dick. And suddenly it was like, oh, I made a huge mistake. And in the call, he was like, well, it's okay. I just want to let you know I don't I don't feel good about this. And, he wasn't angry. He wasn't yelling at me or anything. He was just upset. And I totally don't blame him. We haven't talked since then. I believe it was one of his sons with a username that's not their name. In the comments on the video said, all is forgiven. Let's move on. And I'm sure that's what it is. It was a little lapse in judgment on my part. And you saw the video, so that's where we're at on that. It was an important lesson. And the big reason I did the video was so I could get it off my chest. And it's not that I feel better about it, but we move on. Michael says, I know what you mean. Can you tell me the story of the Charger? I can. Hang on. My 68 Charger, Cliff Notes version. I almost bought a really super crappy project charger that I was going to piece together into a ratty charger for the channel because I thought it would be amazing. And I'd have my dream car. It would be a total piece of garbage. I could drift it off road. I could do fun stuff and have a party. And I had a 440. I had all kinds of stuff that I could do. Right. And what happened was I messaged the guy and was like, hey, I'll be there tomorrow. My trailer's hooked up and ready to go. No problem. And he sent me his phone number and his address. And I was like, cool. Thank you very much. I'll see you whenever. And an hour and a half later, he messaged me again and said, hey, man, my phone is like caught fire and someone offered me more money. Can you match that? And I said, seriously? Yeah. Okay, fine. And then he wrote me back and said, well, he just said he'd pay $10,000 for it. And I was like, dude, I don't really. Okay, I guess. And he was like, oh, sorry, man. I got to sell it to this other guy. And he messaged me the next day and said, well, he actually brought $12,500. So it's gone. But, thanks. And at that point, I was just like, dude, this whole world has gone crazy. And especially Chargers, like, ridiculous. I don't even think I can have one. I don't think I've always wanted one. I know a lot of people have, but I don't. This is ridiculous. So here's what I'm going to do. I've got tons of dumb projects and things around here. I'm going to sell everything I have except my Demon. And either I'm going to buy a good charger and just be done with this crap, or I'm going to take up woodworking. I said that on video and I meant it. It just so happens I had a Cobra replica that I had bought for very, very cheap. In fact, if you go back and watch in my earlier videos, I have one where I drive the Cobra replica in the snow, which was fun. I did 2 or 3 videos with that car. It was really cool. That was at a time that even though the channel is called Dead Dodge Garage, I wasn't trying to be exclusively Mopar. I've realized as time goes on that that's all anyone cares about here. I know that's not 100% true, but that's what the viewer analytics say. But anyway, I had this Cobra replica. And now the thing is, it was cool, but it wasn't my dream car. My dream car was a 68 Charger. So when I did something called the Dead Dodge Garage sale, which is also a video you can watch of this time, I sold 5 cars and a car trailer. One of them is the Toolbox Charger, which is actually still here. Still working on getting that done for the gentleman that bought it. I sold a step-side truck to my friend Dustin. I later swapped him another truck for that truck, and then I sold that truck to Jason Umbright, and he drove it to Wisconsin, and then it blew up. It's this whole thing. And the big thing was that Cobra replica. I bought it for really cheap. The guy was desperate, and I had sold my house. I'm really dumb with money. We bought this house. We paid off all our debts, and we had some money left. I bought a boat. I bought some other things. I was doing okay. And basically with the last money from that, I bought this Cobra. And when I sold the Cobra, I profited a lot about a year later. And it was enough to go buy a 68 Charger. So that's what I did. But even then, like Cobra plus 4 other cars, plus car trailer, plus parts that I've been selling, I still had to borrow $2,500. Like, oh my God. And that's how I ended up owning a 68 Charger, by being a hoarder and making just a couple good decisions in life. Scott Day says, my 73 Duster came with a 6. I thought I'd keep it as it was, but I love the big block sound, and everyone wants me to swap it out for a V8. Built the little 6 to shock people that has power, but I'm having doubts. Man, that's tough. I love slant 6s. I really do. And I've been saying for a long time, I want a 70 Swinger. That's one of the few cars left on my short list I don't have. 70 Challenger was on there. At this point, I'm flexible on the year, and I don't even really want an e-body. And I know that's funny as someone who just said on video that they're trying to buy one, but I have reasons. Anyway, I want a 70 Swinger, and a slant 6 automatic would be amazing. I don't care, you know. It's great, but so are V8s. So is horsepower and torque and big smoky burnouts. So it's just tough. It's tough, you know. I can't tell you which one is right. I'm right there with you. It's the same calculation on almost everything I get. Well, is this fine how it is, or does it need to be a hot rod? I will say not everything needs to be a hot rod. And what has helped me is having a cruiser car and a screw around car. And I've been doing that for years. Nowadays, those two are a little more expensive. It's my 68 Charger and my Demon. Everything else outside of those two is like extra. You know, everything you see me get or mess with on the channel, it's cool. I probably love it. Like my Barracuda, for example, both of them. I forgot I have two. But those two are the important ones. It's the nice, I don't care if it's fast. Yes, it's a big block 68 Charger. Okay, fine. But it could have been a slant 6 or a 318. I don't care. You know, just a nice, a drivable daily driver car. Doesn't matter what's under the hood. And then a fast, fun, hot rod car. Having two helps. But if you can only have one, yeah, it's a tough decision to make. Split the difference and go small block, maybe. I don't know. I really, really like small blocks and A bodies. I think big blocks are excessive. They're too heavy. And if you saw today's video with the 65 Barracuda, holy crap. Listen to what that thing sounds like and then get back to me. But yeah, I understand. And also big block, you know, more factor. So it's a tough call. I can't tell you. I can't guide you toward or away from the light. I could just say, I'm right there with you. I understand. Noah's here with us and says, Jamie, I got a 66 Ford pickup and it's pretty mint. It needs a carb though. The original Motorcraft one shit the bed. I wanted a 2-barrel Holly, but I think I remember you saying they suck. I don't know anything about the 4412, but I will say those Motorcraft 2-barrels are actually quite good. Can you fix the one that's there? Or maybe get another one? Here's my evidence for this. I've played with several Fords with those carbs, and they run nice. And the Cheap Thrills Dart that went to Average Joe Builds, he's actually sold it now. He did pretty well on it, frankly. He did a whole series of videos. If you guys haven't seen him, he really turned that car around. When I got it, it had one of those Motorcraft 2-barrels, and it ran amazing. But it dribbled gas outside of the carburetor constantly, and I thought, well, I could rebuild this, or I could put the right BBD on there. And then my friend Dave gave me one of those Chinese BBDs, so I put it on there, and it never ran as well, ever. The Motorcraft was awesome. It really was. So if fixing that or getting another one is an option, you'd probably do pretty well doing that. I can't tell you anything about those other Holly 2-barrels. The Holly that sucks is the 1920 that's on slant 6s. I hate those. I really do. I just don't like them. People have told me I'm wrong in that, but I'm standing my ground. And I do apologize for being a bit behind on the comments now. I promise to get to all of them. If you do have any comments, questions, concerns, etc., feel free to drop them. I feel like I saw, did I miss a comment? Because I feel like someone said something about 10,000. Maybe I was jumping around. I don't know what happened. Yeah. Okay, we'll get there. EJ's here with us and wants to know, do you have any more videos on the 5.9 Magnum? I have a whole playlist of them. I don't remember what the playlist is called, but you can find it on my channel. I've done a good few videos. It's been a long running joke on the channel that I have been planning to do a Magnum swap, an EFI Magnum swap in a classic car. Now, I've done a few of them, but I haven't done one for video. I haven't done one since the YouTube times. And so I need to do another one and do a start to finish guide. Like, this is how you do the wiring. This is how you make the crank sensor fit. You know, if you're using an old transmission, this is what you do for mounts. Not hard. So yeah, I'm planning to do a guide like that. I actually bought a truck to do that over a year ago. Never did it, sold it. This side of my nose is just dribbling constantly, and I apologize for that. But anyway, yeah, I have a playlist of Magnum videos. They're one of my favorite engines ever, and I mean that. I have a big build coming up. It's actually a Dart Sport V8 manual transmission swap. I think you guys are going to like it. It is a neat project, a little ambitious, but very cool. And I actually had a long conversation with him today because someone was talking to him and was like, hey, man, if you're going to do this, why don't you do a Hemi? And so he asked me my thoughts on that. And my thoughts are, Hemi, okay, add 5 to 10,000 to the cost. You want reliability? I think the Magnum is the more reliable engine. They're tough as nails. They're great. So I really, truly do like them. I think they are excellent. And I will definitely have more Magnum content in the future. But yeah, the big swap video hasn't happened yet. But feel free to check out that playlist. You'll see everything I got. I've done comparison videos, Magnum to LA. I've done a good few. Rich Jordan says, disc brake upgrade for the Challenger, either pin or slider 11 3/4 discs. Is it worth updating to the later large bearing spindle versus bearing spacer on current? Do you have preference for pin versus slider? I can't tell you anything about the different spindles. I'm not familiar with that at all. The only ones I've dealt with are like the ones you get from Right Stuff Detailing. I don't think they have a spacer. So they're probably what you're talking about. 11 3/4 disc. Are the standard ones 11? Is the 11 3/4 the C-body size? See, I just don't know anything. That's my secret in all of this. I don't have any experience with that. But as far as pin versus slider, I've always thought the sliders were cheesy, but they work and they were around forever. The pins weren't. GM uses a very similar pin system. They use that forever and they work, but they suck. The little bushings are always worn out. In fact, I was servicing mail trucks today. A caliper on one of those just moved 1/4 inch. Nothing I can do about it. The little holes are all ovaled out. So I think slider. If you have pin, I don't see any reason to be super concerned about it. You know, I don't think it really matters. Oh, have all pin or slider parts, but only the small bearing spindle. Again, I'm not really familiar with the difference, so I can't really comment on what you should do there. But the fact that I've never had to worry about this might say something, because something tells me I've been running the small one on probably everything forever, but I don't know. Walter G is here with us again and says, howdy, howdy. That Barracuda is pretty badass. Yes, it is. I am very impressed with that car, endlessly impressed. It's so good. I'm very much looking forward to actually driving it this week. Hopefully it doesn't break. But, you know, I'm not holding my breath. Benjamin C wants to know, what is, or is there, a best year Magnum truck to use to put factory EFI in an old Mopar? OBD2 versus OBD1. They are all good, but I prefer the OBD2. Obviously, having the OBD port is a nice touch. If you hook up an engine light, then you can get blink codes out of the other ones, so that's okay. The wiring is almost exactly the same. The tune, the factory OBD2 tune is better. And I can't speak to why that is, but the OBD2 has an idle valve ramp down that actually works. The OBD1, it never seems to do that. Don't know why. Maybe they just hadn't thought of that yet. They seem to make better power. They just seem to sound happier, if that makes sense. That's just anecdotal seat of the pants. I can't tell you why they're better. I just feel like they're better. That's been my experience. All the swaps I've done were OBD2. In fact, I've done one in a van that was an original OBD1 TBI setup, and adapting the OBD2 to that was still the easiest thing in the universe because the power wires, that's like all the colors matched up. Like it was seriously that easy. The relay control and what have you. So I like the OBD2 a lot. I just think it's better, but the OBD1 works. You know, it's fine. It'll get the job done. But my recommendation for your donor is a later Ram truck. The later, the better, up to 01 in a 1500, 02 in a 2500. With a 5.9, obviously, would be better. The Ram truck harness, the engine harness is completely separate, and there's a disconnect in the fuse panel. So those are the best. You unplug that, you snip that connector off, you do everything you need to do, and it's right there. If you take a Dakota, a Grand Cherokee V8, a van, anything else, the wiring is not like that. So the Ram truck is really the best. Alt Praise says, I've heard Mopar experts claim that Cordovas, Magnum, Sport Furies are B-bodies. Anyone out there confirm this? Yes, they are. They are. The Cordova is a B-body. Late Sport Fury, if I'm remembering correctly from the reading I've done over the last couple days, yes, same thing. But yeah, the Cordova is a B. It was the small Chrysler. I actually said that in the video today. B-body. Yesterday. A small Chrysler. That's right, a B-body. Big Range says 10,000 subs, then you're no longer the homeless guy from Aberdeen until it grows back. Yeah. Stacy says he'll miss Hobo Jamie. Yeah, you know, the hair is going to go. I never wanted this. It just happened. The beard was an intentional choice. I would like to just trim it again. I did kind of already commit to shaving it, so I'm sort of sticking with that. For most of my early 20s, I didn't have facial hair, but I did have sideburns. So, yeah. We'll see. We'll see where that goes. Yeah. Anyway, it'll grow back. I will have a beard again. The hair just needs to go. It's a problem. Ross asked if the 360 and the 300 is an E58. Yes, it is. As we were discussing a bit ago, there are apparently 3 E58s. That's what I learned from my reading yesterday. It's not the same as the one in the Little Red, but it's very similar. It does have a smog pump. So, yeah. My sister says, I figured you had the same cold the kids have, but you sound like you're in much worse shape. I was pretty much dead end of Friday through yesterday. A little better today. Now I'm losing my voice. That's how this goes. You start recovering and you lose your voice. And Lovejoy's right there with me on that as far as the Motorcraft carbs. I don't know why. They're just good. And I'm not ashamed to say that. You know, if a different manufacturer has a better part, I'm not afraid to say that Ford has the better part. In this one instance, in this only this is what I'm trying to say. Oh, I should mention, I received an anonymous gift in the mail this week. It's a t-shirt that says, I love Fords. I don't know if anyone else caught the apology tour, the video I put up in the comments, my Ford shirt, which my sister bought me. It was a present. It's also one of very few black shirts I own, not black shirts I own. So it comes out on the hot days. Anyway, it's now known as the shirt of shame. And after my gift, I now have 2. Chrome Muffler Bearing says, my 69 Charger still has the left-hand thread lug nuts on the driver's side. Was Chrysler Corporation the only one who did this? Do you encounter this on a regular basis today? Yes. Some. And there may have been other companies that did it. I think I have heard that, but I don't know. I'm not an expert on other companies. I'm not even really an expert on Chrysler Corporation, but I know a whole lot more about them. They started using reverse thread lug bolts long ago. They had them in the 50s. I don't know when that started, but my 55 Chrysler had reverse thread lug bolts. 56 Dodge truck I did videos on last year. It had left-hand thread lug nuts. Figure that one out. But yeah, I can't say I encounter it on a regular basis because at this point, many of those cars have been converted. If they got a disc brake conversion, it's almost 100%. They're no longer left-hand thread. My Charger has been converted, so it doesn't have them anymore. I have had cars that still did, obviously that Chrysler, but my 67 Barracuda still has them on the driver's front. I think the driver's rear is right hand because the axle's been changed. Not totally sure. And I planned to change that. In fact, that's why it still only has 3 mag wheels with brand new tires mounted because I haven't. I ruined the hub trying to do that like an idiot. Anyway, still haven't fixed it. But they're still out there. Oh, and at Rocket, we see them. And we, on a nice restoration, you're going to keep it that way. Alex is here with us. Hi, guys. Sorry I've been radio silent. That's okay. We forgive you. Hope everyone is as well can be. Yeah. Alex wants to know, have we found any more info on the 72 Y code special V8? Did I have a stroke? Because I don't remember what that is. No idea. Timothy Russell says all manufacturers used left-hand threads and Chrysler just used them longer. That's interesting. I didn't think everyone did. Okay. And Donnie says Packard had reverse thread. Lord, how I know. Nice. Alex, tell me what V8 you're talking about. And I'm going to try and get in the habit of scrolling to the bottom when I'm waiting for a response. But I make no promises and I'll probably forget. Jason Umbright says the Little Red does have the 340 purple can. That's pretty much it other than 4-barrel. Interesting. Yeah, see, like I say, I found a chart that showed those different versions of the E58 360, but I couldn't find any confirmation on cam specs. So very interesting. Rooster is here with us and says, better late than never. Indeed. I never really took a nap yesterday. I did rest, but I didn't actually fall asleep. It's close to the same thing. I don't really have a voice anymore. It's becoming a problem. If you guys haven't checked out Rooster's channel lately, he's been posting shorts and he put up his first actual video on his Coronet project today. So you might go check that out. M1's here with us, or he was a bit ago, and said, hey, dude, can't stay long. Just want to drop in and say, hey, keep up the great video. I will do my best. Thank you very much. Thanks for dropping in. Appreciate you. Dan Tepper says, there were TBI V8 Dakotas, 89, Shelby model and convertible pickup. Did not know about the mounts. Only seen the side mounts on 92 up 5.2 blocks and late 93 cast 5.9s myself. Right. I know and I never want to say that with authority. I know the 5.2 and 5.9 were staggered a year when they went to TBI and then again when they went to Magnum. So I always just think 93 because that's the Magnum 360. That's the one that matters. But yeah, the 318 was Magnum in 92, right? Anyway, interesting. Yeah, I can't say I know a ton about Dakotas. Timothy Russell says, we all step in shit now and then. You did a good job apologizing. Thank you. Yeah, the response was very, very positive. I think I did the right thing the second time. But everyone kind of seemed to feel the same way. So yeah, we'll move on. Michael Adamo says that is very, very optimistic. I thought you were trying to sell the Coronet. That's why I had asked. No, I tried to explain in the video I'm not doing that. But I didn't explicitly say I am not selling this car. What I said was I am not selling this car through YouTube because I wouldn't try to sell anything through YouTube, because every single offer for a part or a car that has come through YouTube vanished into thin air. So yeah, but no, I am not selling it for them. If they sell it elsewhere, cool, no problem. I mean, I'll be a bit bummed. I do want to own the car, but I can't own all of them, and the budget has not worked out. So it is what it is. Yes. Yeah. So the story they gave me was that someone at a car show had offered that. And what I told them was, why didn't he take that? That would have been insane. He had told me a much lower number than that before he passed away. And even that number, with it as it is, with it needing the few things that it does, I'd say that number is also optimistic. But I said, hypothetically, if I can sell an expensive classic truck that I own and something else to do this, I will pay the number he told me. But I can't pay any more. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. It's all in limbo. Dan Berg dropped in with us and said, hey, everyone. And Jamie, how you feeling today, Jamie? That was almost over 20 minutes ago, Dan. So you probably know by now how I'm feeling. Physically better, but I am congested and my voice is leaving the building. Generally, I go for another hour. I do not promise to do that. Oh, Alex's Y code in the VIN is special V8. Yeah. Haven't we talked about that? I feel like we have. Special V8 is, that was a truck thing specifically, I believe. And it's just a V8 engine from another line, from somewhere else. Someone custom ordered their truck and said, I want this engine, and they would do that within reason. But yeah, there are, that's pretty common. Okay, I can't say it's super common, but it's something I've read about, special V8. It's a V8 that was not a normal option on that truck. And it could mean various things, but I've heard of multiple cases of that. I think I'm remembering this conversation now. It must have been a long time back, I'm guessing. But I can't tell you what it means on your truck, and I don't think there's really any documentation to tell you, as I understand. Walter G says, there have been a few really nice slant 6-star swingers here and there on Marketplace out in my area. Don't tell me these things. Javi Macias is with us and says, was not too crazy over the big glass Barracudas, but the unique design of the 65 front end really caught my eye. Better looking than 64 or 66. Aren't they the same as 64? What's different? They're different than the Valiant. No, the 64.5 Barracuda is the same. The 66 is the egg crate grill. And I own a 66, but it doesn't even have that grill. I can't say that is my favorite. I like it well enough. But yeah, the 64.5 nose is sweet. Now, the 64 Valiant is different. Valiant didn't get those turn signals in the grill like the Barracuda did. The round signals didn't get that. So maybe you're thinking of that. But the 64.5 nose on the Barracuda is the same. And yeah, they are unique and they're pretty cool. I am a fan. When I told the internet I was going to put my 66 grill on the 64 Barracuda so it would have a whole nose, they were disgusted. They're an acquired taste. I think they're cool. And I had the garbage can Cuda, you know, at a neat time in my life when my wife moved back from California, and that was our only car other than a borrowed Corolla and a crappy, rusty old truck. And we were just driving everywhere in that thing, and it was the most fun. And so they have a special place in my heart for that reason. Especially that car, obviously, which is why I'm ecstatic to own it again, but it's just sitting in my yard, so it's not the best. Dust Devil Garage is here with us again and says, I really like small blocks and A-bodies. They just fit so good. Yes, I completely feel exactly the same way. I love big blocks, but they belong in the BE and a C-body. Obviously, it's got to be a tall deck and a C-body. Otherwise, what's the point? Holy crap, did I never finish answering the question about the 64 Chrysler? Wow. Sorry, Jason. Yeah. Anyway, Dust Devil, I totally agree with you. Totally agree. The small block is the choice for the A-body. And in a B-body, I think a small block is silly unless it's a Magnum. I did that to my 66 Charger, and it was almost like smacking a puppy. But it had more horsepower than the big block it replaced. It ran way better. I told you about the video, but I didn't tell you about the car. That's what I did. The 64 Chrysler Newport 4-door hardtop. Junkyard Rescue. My friend Mitch bought it. Not Mitchell. I explained this in today's video. Not Mitchell. Mitch, that owns the green Dart, bought the Newport. And when he bought it, I had his Dart here too. And I was like, I'm going to finish your Dart first. And then I finished his Dart. And I kind of just never got back to the Newport. So it's sitting in front of my house. And it's just sort of blending in with the scenery. That's a problem. Anyway, it's a 361, I believe. I'll just spoil the surprise. I got it running in 8 minutes. Typical Jamie revival. Like, it just party on. But we had to tow it off the trailer because 3 out of 4 brakes were seized. All the tires were flat. So I took all the wheels and tires off, banged all the drums with a hammer, put different wheels and tires on it. Those went flat. Dude, it's just like, it's a problem. But yeah, I could go out right now and hit the key and it'll probably fire up. So it's a neat car. It's in good shape. It's got a little bit of rust, but nothing horrible. And it came with a pile of old replacement parts, which is super cool. So it's a neat project. I really need to get back to it. I don't know what happened. I saw a squirrel or something. I have been getting into a lot of projects that I've been putting off for way too long lately. The gold truck, I'm making another push on the 61 Studebaker. I've got it almost ready to fire, which is amazing. The crew cab Dodge, it needs to like not be here anymore. So same on that truck, trying to get stuff happening. I got a couple nightmares out of here. So I'm trying to get to these things, and I will. So you will see that car, but haven't seen it yet. It has been in the background of a couple of videos, I think, but yeah. Anyway, I see 62 of you out there now. That is awesome. Thanks for joining us here. Really appreciate that. I'm going to guess we have this many people because Tony's done streaming. Either way, welcome to Dead Dodge Garage Live, where I am kind of still sick. But we're happy to have you. And if you don't mind, hit the like button on the stream. Unfortunately, I'm pretty far behind on comments, but if you have any questions or input on today's videos or any of the things I've been talking about, feel free to drop them and I will get to them as soon as I can. Again, I'm not necessarily committing to be here for another 50 minutes because my voice is really not happy about this. As you can tell, I sound like, what did Donnie say? Asshole? Something like that. Anyway, Walter G says, I've always wanted to build a low-budget 318 for my Volare, but I found another Slant 6 for cheap with a 90-day warranty. All right. I really like the 80s Slant 6s. I am all in on those. Ross says, yes, on the Motorcraft 2-barrel. Had one on a 75 F100 302. Thing was amazing. I sometimes find myself wondering, why was Ford so big on 2-barrels? All their stuff had 2 barrels. It makes sense. It's a good carburetor. Tulsa's here with us, or was a bit ago. Sorry, that's another drink. And wants to know what happened to the 66 Charger. I sold it to my very good friend David. He's often in the comments. David's house is where all of my B-bodies go when I'm done with them, basically. He also has my wife's 67 Belvedere too. He has since replaced the trunk lid, painted it to match. That car had a blue trunk lid for decades. Okay. So that's cool. He patched the floor. He installed new carpet, which I always wanted to do. The console's in. He's working on hacking it up to fit to 4-speed. It's looking really good. So yeah, that's what happened to that. He lives in Vancouver. That's a couple hours from me. So I don't get to see him often or anything. But yeah, that's where it is. Dave has a habit of just like doing things too well. And that's what he's doing with that. So anyway, something tells me someday we'll have that car on video again. It's still in the family, as I like to say, but it's not here anymore. About a year ago, it's been almost a year since I closed my shop, and selling the 66 was part of that. He had been trying to get it from me for a while, and he happened to message me and say, is today a selling the Charger day or a not selling the Charger day? During the week that I was closing my shop. And I said, you know what? Let's do it. So, and it was just sitting out in the yard. You know, my 68 Charger's in the shop, and my 66 is all sad in the grass. So it's living a better life at his place. And I'm good with that. Michael Adamo says, thank you for sharing the story again. I did see a couple Cobra videos of yours. Cool. Yeah, those are, I don't know if treasure is the right word, but there's something I'm fond of. You know, my earlier videos are a little hit or miss, but I can't say you won't see anyone else driving a Cobra in the snow, because there is a video of a guy in like England doing it, but just around the block. Anyway, yeah, it was a cool car. I had a lot of fun, but it was psycho, and I would have killed myself eventually. So it really had to go. Roy Boy says, I soon will have the joy of changing the old voltage limiter on E-body. Do you take the gauge cluster out to do that, or just somehow get your hands up behind the dash to do it? It varies by body style, and someone else asked me this too. I don't know on E-body. I've never done it in the dash on an E-body. I just can't picture exactly where it is, because the question is if it's blocked by the column support or not. I feel like you can get to it, but the problem is it's not like the A-body one that just pops in. So you just pop it out and pop it in. The E-body, well, now I don't know if you've got rally gauges or not. The base gauge one might be like that, actually. The rally gauge one is screwed on because they have the point-to-point wiring. So those ones you have to unplug everything and then unscrew it, take it out, put it back in, screw it on, and then get the connections back in the right place. I just can't tell you. Your mileage will vary. I've done it on A-bodies. Some are easier than others, but I've never done it on an E-body, so I don't know for sure. Hopefully that is your only problem. As you may know, often when the limiter dies, it takes the gauges with it. That's if it dies in the shorted closed position. My hat is crooked today, and I cannot fix it. Scott Day says, how would you add a front sway bar to a body Mopar with a 6? Besides replacing the K-member. You don't have to replace the K-member. There's no reason to do that. It just bolts on. The only thing you have to do is either weld on tabs or do the shock bolt tabs. The bolt-on is easy. The geometry is a little funky, but it works. Welding them on... And it depends on the kit you get. A lot of them are just designed to be bolted on, and some of them are designed to be welded on. So whatever you get is what you get. Roy says, I do have rally. It appears to be screwed on and in a very tight spot. Yeah, you're probably going to have to pull the cluster. It's not too bad. Oh, and Crash came in from Uncle Tony's and gave me a thumbs up. Thank you very much, Crash. We'll get back to the end of I'll get back to those comments in a minute here. We're catching up. Everything's going good. Yeah, Scott, just get a kit. The K member is only different where the engine mounts to it. Everything else is the same. Slight 6 cars could come with sway bars. They just usually don't. They could come with disc brakes too. So yeah, you don't need to change the K member. Just get yourself a kit. Just get the right kit for your year. And depending on your year, you may have to drill some holes. But that's fine. You do not need to change the K member. Rich Jordan says 73.4 E-body and 73 to 6A had the larger inner bearing spindle with correct fit. Okay, 70 to 72 had a smaller inner bearing using 11.75 disc requires spacer for the inner bearing. Okay, got it. Interesting. So the 73 to 6A body is really, that to me is disc brakes and everything else is Greek. And the replacement kits are that same spindle. They don't, so I'm sure they're the larger bearing. I don't have that kind of stuff memorized. I usually just say 73 dart with disc brakes and I get the right stuff. So yeah, that's kind of stuff I haven't had to know, so I don't know it, but cool. Thanks for filling me in on that. 22VX, who has been in many of the comment sections the last few days, wants to know any preliminary guesses on what that Cuda might do in the quarter. 12s, 11s, or I don't know, but it's quick. The real determining factor with that car is going to be traction. Traction is going to be a challenge. Now, he's got Caltrax on it. If he gets some adjustable shocks, maybe as an additional thing, I don't know. And maybe not so much with the sway bars for drag strip day. But I don't know. I can't tell you. What I can tell you is my Demon, I've only been able to do 8th mile racing so far because that's what I can get to easily. It's not running that fast, but my times have been equivalent to upper 12s. Hold on. No, that's wrong. That's totally wrong. I apologize for lying to you. Lower 14s. It in the past ran an 1188. That Barracuda has a good bit more poop than that Demon had in the 70s when it cut an 1188. So there's potential, but there's also a gearing difference. But then again, the gearing in first gear in the TKX is different, so that might make up for it. There are a lot of variables. I don't know. And I'm not much of a bench racer, frankly. I don't have a whole ton of experience with it. But having said that, I think 11s is doable with that car. I can't say how much more. I can't say where it'll end up. But traction program sorted, sticky tires, a rear suspension that's going to do the best that it can do. Maybe some lead. I don't know. It's got a lot of engine. Let's get it to the ground, and it will do cool stuff. Rich Jordan also added, yeah, the 11-inch disc was the older disc. 11 3/4 is late B and C. Okay, you just use the right caliper bracket to match. That I've heard of. Tom told me about that. I know for that setup, you have to run a 15-inch wheel. You're supposed to be able to fit a 14-inch wheel over the older discs. I've never really had experience with that bigger stuff. Apparently it's a nice upgrade, but we've got the standard ones, the 11-inch on our Coronet wagon, and they work really well. And that is not a light car. So to me, the difference between the two, in my experience, I don't really think you need a whole lot more. Lovejoy says it wasn't me, I swear. And I think that is in reference to the Dylan McCool thing. My sister says the Ford shirt was originally a shirt of shame. Anyway, you kept saying nice things about Fords at the shop, so I got you the shirt. How dare you slander me like that by saying that I said nice things about Fords? That is screwed up. Bell James, a bit ago, said, I do love the 79 300. It is a true 300 in spirit. It has all the performance stuff that was available and all the interior upgrades and personal luxury touches. I agree. And the original 300 was just a Windsor or whatever. Like it's yeah, it's just a Cordoba, but they threw the whole parts catalog they had left at it, and that's neat to me. Oh, Bulldog Garage Merch dropped in and paid me $5 to ask a question, so I'll answer that now. 79 thermoquad carburetor, 4-barrel linkage issue. Accelerator pump not closing all the way. No matter what I do, I can't seem to fix the issue. You have any input? What do you mean it's not closing all the way? You mean like you let off the throttle and then you hit the throttle and it takes a while before it touches, or it doesn't give you any fuel at all, or it's stuck up? I mean, there's a spring in there. It should have its full travel. Linkage issue. So if you pop the linkage off, can you actually work it all the way? Is that, huh? I don't know. You know, excuse me. I have a handful of thermoquads at my disposal. You can email me. My email address is jamienoise, JAMIENOISE, jamienoise @gmail.com. Send me a picture of your linkage and what you got going on, and I will do my best to help you. I can't say I've had accelerator pump linkage issues on the thermoquad. Yeah, I've screwed with them a good bit. So, Oh yeah, and Alex, I think I did kind of already get back to this a little bit, but yeah, Y code in the VIN on a pickup truck means it's a special V8, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's a 346 pack. It just means it's a V8 that wasn't one of the normal options on the list for that truck, but it was ordered with it, and Chrysler said, okay. So they put it in there, and the VIN code says why. It's I do remember this now. I think you sent me pictures of it, actually, now that I think about it. Some time ago. Man, time's flying by. But anyway. Yeah, right. It doesn't tell you. It doesn't tell you on the tag what it is. And if you look at the more detailed data tag in the actually, it's pretty common on trucks, because again, you could kind of order them with what you wanted: spring packages, axles, that sort of thing. So you'll see on the tags, you'll see special. So interesting stuff. Luke Tichnell dropped in with us and said, I've been late the last 3 Sundays. It's daylight longer here. Yes, I've been experiencing that myself. When it's daylight so late, I never quite know when to quit. It's a problem. JMR says, do you have 2 different comment places to read from? Well, it's funny you asked that a while ago, because I just read one from the starred comment spot, which is where the tipped, the money, when people leave tips with a comment, super chat, that has its own spot. But other than that, no, it's just in the normal window. Yeah. Now, the one thing I will say is, occasionally, I think we've had this happen 2 or 3 times that I know of. Like one of Jason's comments last week just disappeared. I'm using StreamYard. StreamYard integrates with YouTube. It's pretty fancy. The reason I use it is so I can have guests on. But when I discovered this fancy comment display thing the first time I used it, I was sold. So I just always use it. I guess I don't have to tell you that it's StreamYard, because it tells you itself. So you stream from their website, their tool, and it gives you the comment feed. It sends video to YouTube, and then it grabs the comment feed back. But occasionally comments fall through the cracks. So if you think I should have seen one and I didn't, you can always drop it again. I've had people do that a few times just to then get to their first comment. Anyway, yeah, I'm just way behind. That's basically what's going on. Lovejoy says that's because people on YouTube like to write checks in the comments their wallets can't cash. That is very true. Ooh, fancy. Is that why it's all fancy? I don't know. I'm a pothead. Can't remember shit. Respect. Dan Tupper. Oh, to Hobby said, I own both 64 and 5 Barracudas, same front sheet metal and grill. Early Barracudas had a different fender script, and the 66 is the entirely different front clip. Yes. And 64 says Valiant on it. 65 doesn't. 64 can have the goofy Valiant gauges with the 3-pod and the big, 65 does not. I don't know if they changed that mid-year 64 or not, but I didn't know any had that until I bought one. Fairly sure it was original. It was a pretty original car. Walter G902 said, would take a 72 4-door slant 6 Dart, family cruiser, road trip. Yeah, sounds awesome. I want a 70 Swinger because that's what I was driving in some of my formative after high school years. And I can never remember this, 4 engines and 5 transmissions in that car, a crappy paint job, crappy bodywork I did myself, I was all proud of, bucket seats, carpet kit, or maybe that was already done. Always wanted to do scoops and spoiler, never did, don't know why. And I traded it for the garbage can Cuda. So that is my Dart. That's what I want. I want another 70 Swinger, 2-door Swinger. But sedans are cool. I like them. You know, I think they're looking really good nowadays. I just want the Swinger. Big Wrench knows what's wrong with my lift. Ain't got no gas in it. Walter G says, the person I mentioned on Facebook when I shared your video posted pics of her old 79. Oh, cool. Okay. I'll check that out later. I thought that was cool. I didn't, I thought it was cool you shared it. HR says, I had to laugh at the scene with the lift in today's video. It's every time, and I'm not kidding. I fixed it 3 times now. What's happening is the motor, the drive part of the motor is coming up somehow, and it's a straight drive at the bottom, and it's kind of stripped out. So I took it out once and welded it, filed it, and got it working all nice. I think I cut that from the Demon Revival video this year when I got it down off the lift. But I had a ton of problems. I ended up with tons of crap on that video that I don't think anyone really needed to see. So I don't know if that was in there or not. But anyway, yeah, it's an ongoing problem. Now I've just been keeping my nice Mac Tools bit driver sitting on the motor so I can, it wasn't that day, but usually it's just sitting there so I can take the motor cover off, take it out, shove it back in and screw it down. And it usually works once. Ah, there's Dave. Hey, this is cool. He updated his picture for the person that asked where my 66 went. There it is. It's right there. Anyway, Dave wants to know, have you tried the W200 again? No, I've been off it since the day I pulled the one head. I still need to pull the other head and then get back into it. I have been a busy boy. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, Bulldog, I do apologize for not getting to these before you sent me money. I would have. I'm just way behind again. My bad, but I do appreciate that. Cool. And I see you will email me. Sounds good. I will watch for that. Lots of people do it. But anyway, no, I haven't tried the greenish monster. I haven't put any more time in on that. I really want to. As I said in today's video, which HR is referencing to right here, I have 2 types of videos on this channel. The first type is I get it done in half a day or less. And honestly, usually in half an hour, I just done. Or months and months, and I work on it, and then I don't touch it. And then I work on it, and then I don't touch it. And before you know, I have a phone full of videos from 6 to 14 months ago that I've never finished and released. Did I say 14? That Caterpillar video, if anyone caught that, I started that video last March or April or February. Anyway, super good at stuff. Yes, some of my videos take a long time to make. And some of them just don't get done at all. So right now in my phone, I have a video for the truck Dave's talking about. I've spent hours on it and it's nowhere near ready. The crew cab W200, the other one, and I've spent a lot of time on that. Still not done. I've got a video on Mitch's Newport I referenced. Nope, not done. The Gold Truck video was in my phone for a year till I got that done the other day. The Studebaker video is still on my phone. Not done. I could go on. Yeah, I get into a lot of different stuff. It's possible I have ADD. Don't know. Kind of seems that way. But yeah, I bounce around from project to project a lot. Generally, I try to just bang it out, as they say. But some things you just can't do that, and it takes a while. So yeah, I thought that might be a little tidbit of interesting behind the scenes information. So glad you picked up on it. Boy, oh yeah, we did that. Cave Dave says, I'm hating life right now. My Plymouth decided to do a kickdown linkage delete on my rebuilt transmission. Oh no. I have sprinkles and sparkles throughout my transmission fluid. That is not good. Did you happen to, what was it like while driving it before you realized? Was it obviously shifting super soft? Because it should have been. In fact, we were talking about this last week. Generally, what they do is just boom, boom, boom. They just shift. And it's super soft shifts, and that's what does it. That is not ideal. Oh, so Donnie, when you asked why the kickdown was critical last week, sprinkles and sparkles, not what you want. Bell James says, oh, this is interesting. By the way, if you have to change out the voltage limiter on the 300, just take off the front gauge escutcheon, and it's right there nestled between the tach and speedo. Cool. That is good to know. I suspect it's bad. Don't know 100%. Javi says, thanks for the info on the 64.5 Barracuda. What happened to the likes? Are you not seeing many likes? Oftentimes, if you've already been here, you won't see how many likes there are. But we've got 47, so. Oh, wow. I actually logged into the live. This is creepy. It's like a hat on a hat. And it said there are fancy new tools available. Wow. For creators. Wow. Anyway, that's where we're at. Rooster says, oh, I need to leave and download the second installment on the Coronet build, showing the rust carnage on the cross member and also what motor it'll have and why. Rooster, the people love carnage almost as much as they love failure. So cool. Do it. Can't wait to see it. You're welcome, Scott. Lovejoy says that was in reference to the anonymous Ford shirt. Oh. I don't even remember what it was. Dang it. Son of a bitch. It wasn't me, I swear. Got it. Rooster says, oh, I do want to mention I had a great chat with Donnie at Big Wrench today. I think he fell in love with my Harley and my Hemi. Classic. Yeah, I heard you guys were chatting. My sister says that was the entire point. How dare you call a Ford a fine automobile? Rooster's with my sister on that. Canadian Big Mex here with us again and says, so DDG, showed my daughter the video you made about the 65 Barracuda. Now my daughter's dead set on owning one. Cool. How much did I just cost myself, do you think? Well, that depends on her standards and your willingness to contribute. Sorry about that. I don't know. You know, I have seen a lot of very good early Barracudas in the 8 to 13,000 range over even the last couple of years. As everything has gone insane, those really haven't gone completely insane. From what I've been seeing, there was a beautiful blue one with white stripes and a 4-speed that I very much wanted to own. And it was on my local marketplace for a while, listed for maybe it was 10.5 or 11. There was a red one, beautiful car, beautiful interior, V8. These are all V8s, by the way. Why would I look at it if it wasn't? I think that one was an automatic. It had one little spot of paint damage on one of the quarters, but seriously, other than that, it was gorgeous. And that one was low teens, I'm sure. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was low teens. Yeah, so they're out there. And there are nice ones for not totally insane amounts of money. So, you know, it might not be that bad. Just be glad she didn't say that she's dead set on owning a 68 Charger, because you'll pay the same money for the absolute worst 68 Charger anyone has ever seen. Okay, that's not exactly correct. I saw one with no back half and not much of a front half and no running gear and no paperwork. And it was only $5,000 yesterday. Oren Cahoon says 64 had push button trans, 65 had console shifter, 65 park lights stayed on with headlights, 64 not. Nuts on wipers, 64, 65 are push on. Interesting. Makes sense on the wipers. Yeah, 64B is the same way, where they still bolted on. I didn't know that the parking lights started staying on in 65, because on a lot of other models, that's a lot later that they did that. 68 Charger, they don't stay on. 66 Charger, they don't stay on. I think 70 Charger, they do. So I was thinking the change was around 70, but that is not 100%. I don't, again, I don't know. So if that changed on the Barracuda specifically for 65, that's very interesting. Because I feel like in general across the line, it was a good few years later than that. But yes, 64 was the last year for push button. So it's the only year you could get that. So that mid-year 64 or whatever, Barracuda. Only year you could get a push button in the Barracuda. Yeah, 65. 65 had the wee little console, the small console with the ball and the flat going down. And then 66, I believe, has the later style console. It was in the late A, 67 to the end. At least in the ones you could get consoles in. Royboy had a comment for Bulldog. You can bend the adjustment lever to get your accelerator pump to bottom out all the way. Why I didn't think to say that, I don't know. I guess I was more thinking the actual movement of the pump was the problem. But anyway, yeah. Again, but that's why I wanted to see a picture, because if I look at that and then I look at a good one and go, well, yeah, yours zigs where it needs to zag. That would be exactly my advice. So yeah. My sister says I was describing the ADHD experience just then, 8 minutes ago. Big Ranch says I'm going to have to go soon. I think I left the smoke on the freaking golf cart on. I'm going to show you guys this because Donnie sent it to me earlier. Oh, cool. He actually just sent me this in reference to him knowing too much about Packards. 51 Packard 250. Is that what you said? Yeah. That's cool. There you go. It's like having a zoom. And there's the engine compartment. That looks nice. That's straight 8, right? Oh, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cool. Nice. Anyway. He sent me a lot of things today, actually. Let's see if I can find it. Where is it? Oh, come on. Is it this? I think it's this. So if you guys, I told you guys about the golf cart, the airplane golf cart on his channel. He just painted it, which is awesome. He's got a remote and it does things. And it doesn't do what you think it would do. Hold on. Did I do that wrong? Oh, I never saw that one. Because he sent me a video of him driving it and he was like, yeah, I think this is how I die. So of course I sent a video back and said, just like the gypsy woman said. Anyway, maybe it's the long one. Somewhere here. Here we go. That's a smoke machine on the back of an airplane body swapped golf cart. Oh yeah, but the wing kicked up. It's got LEDs in it. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Anyway. Good stuff. My sister says pretty soon we'll start seeing videos where Jamie still has hair and beard, but in daily life, they're gone. That is going to be a real problem for my long-term videos I'm still working on. Timothy Russell wants to know, what late Mopars do you think will be the most desirable in 30 years? The rarer and performance models and stuff, a base kind of the same as now, a Slant 6 Dart sedan, still not. I think they're cool, but they're not worth a bunch. They're not super desirable. They're desirable from the point of this is America. This is something to preserve and enjoy, and it's old iron. But they're not desirable in the sense that a 344 speed Demon or Swinger is desirable. You know what I mean? God, now we're going to have to drink every time I say, you know what I mean. I think the rarer cool models, like the 79 300, I think those are going to be super valuable, like say maybe in a few months when I'm ready to sell mine. But I didn't say that. The Roadrunner Volare, any of those neat package cars that were like, even if they weren't amazingly fast, they were something special when they were made. And the farther we get from that, the more rare and special they are. So yeah, I think that's probably it. People might want K cars ironically someday. I kind of want one just so I can have the K car experience because I was deprived of that. But yeah, I think there are late 70s cars that are pretty cool. Or do you mean late as in what they're making now? In which case, same answer. I mean, all of the fancier, what's desirable now will probably be more desirable then. Anyway, that's all I've got. Canadian Big Mac said, thank God, 8 to 15K is manageable. Yeah, it's there. Now, that's what I've seen in my area, Western Washington. And it's an interesting place, because I'm a couple hours from Seattle, a couple hours from Portland, an hour from Olympia. But where I am specifically, it's kind of a depressed area. There really isn't a whole lot of good stuff for sale, and it's hard to sell things. So things tend to be cheaper. A lot of Western Washington is kind of like that. The bigger cities, not exactly the same, but what I've seen in, my area, that's kind of where they're at. Now, there are some that are priced for more, but man, but there are a lot of good ones in that range. So yeah, if I were looking to buy a classic Mopar right about now, that would be a great one because they're not insane. But your mileage may vary. And if you are in Southern California, I don't know, double it, triple it. No idea. Maybe just come up to Washington and buy one. You know what? Now I'm curious. So I'm going to look. Well, I've got you. And I have almost caught up on the comments. So if you have anything you wanted to say that you haven't, please do that. Well, here's a Valiant postcard for $25,000. So I don't know, maybe forget every single thing I just said. Here's a 65 listed for 26. There's a lot of money in it. And it's a nice car. It's been restored. They didn't black out behind the grill, so that's annoying. And I don't like the color, but it's nice. It's got a good looking engine. 364 speed, 4-wheel disc conversion. So, coil over 4-link. Oh. All right. So that one's kind of built like the one here for 26. It's in the same neighborhood. Okay. That's looking pretty good, actually, now that I think about that. 65 dark convertible. I don't know if that's a good comparison. Ooh. 66 Barracuda S that needs literally everything for $6,500. No. Oh, it's actually 2 cars. And the S is totally complete. But it's a pile. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it seems optimistic. I just found a Barracuda grill. You ever feel like Joe Dirt? Oh, it's a dash pad for a... God, there is something funny about searching Facebook for Barracuda and finding one of your own ads. I want to let this be a lesson to you people. Those back windows are not worth thousands of dollars. I've had 2 of them listed for $150 each for 8 months, and they're still here. Anyway, those ones I was seeing are gone, but yeah, there are deals out there on those cars. They haven't taken off like crazy, like any E-body, any Charger 6870. Little different deal. A-bodies have gone up, but they haven't those early A bodies have not gotten insane from what I've been seeing. JMR says, checking for a freeway vibration in my 70 Dart. Front BF Goodrich tires have a date code of 2003. Do you think that might be a factor? Yes. My 70 Dart had a freeway vibration, but it would come on at like, excuse me, I want to say 52 miles an hour. I would get a pulse, and then it would go away, and then it would come back at like 65 or 70. So there was a happy range where I could cruise and it was fine. So I just ignored it. It was a warped rim, rear rim. So there are some possibilities there. But wheel and tire, that's wheel, tire, driveline. It's going to be one of those. Donnie dropped in, said, I'm back. No smoke other than a burnt corn dog. No! Screw it. I'm going to bed. Canadian Big Mac wants to know, hey, did they repop a lot of parts and panels for the 65 Barracuda, or am I SOL? You can get things like seat covers, carpets, dash pads, I bet. But now that I think about it, I don't actually know. There's some stuff. Patch panels. I do not believe, yeah, they do make those. I do not believe they have like quarter skins. Like OE skins. I don't know if they even have the other style of skins, frankly. Yeah, there aren't full panels available, and that's a common thing. You could get patch panels for a Tempest. Yeah, basically body parts, you're crap out of luck. You're going to be used stuff for the most part. It's tough. Yeah, they're not. It's that trade-off. It's a less desirable body style, right? So it's cheaper to buy, but because people aren't restoring them the way they're restoring 69 Camaros, the parts really aren't out there. So yeah, you will be kind of SOL. Now on mechanicals, you're fine because they're the same as all A body forever. There's a lot you can do there. And a lot of aftermarket stuff that's available. Disc brakes, complete axles, but it's going to be tough for Barracuda specific stuff. Yes. Oren Cahoon says, problem with late 70s cars, they've turned to dust here in the Northeast. Yeah, I think a lot of them did that here too. And it's the nicely maintained garage kept cars that have it. And I have a theory that 300 I got, yes, it ended up in a junkyard. It's got an AARP sticker on it. Like the story I'm imagining is someone passed away, family didn't want it. It went to the junkyard and Darian rescued it from there, saw it, knew what it was and saved it. It looks like it was pretty well maintained. May well have been garage kept for most of its life. So anyway, that does make a big difference. Yeah, if it was driven in the Northeast at all, but definitely in the winter. Yeah, it's not winning with us anymore. So we're lucky over here. I don't think I could have the channel I have over there. I don't think that would be possible. Just don't. Hopefully you can still hear me. Last time I said that, 17 people told me they could. So only tell me you can't hear me. If you can hear me, everything's fine. We're back now. Jason says, JMR reminded me, I just took off a set of Goodyear Tiempos off my 79 Aspen. Yeah, I think you told me this. Date codes are old with the 3-number codes. So I'm guessing 93 to 95. Surprisingly, not too much cracking. I think they stopped making those in the 90s sometime. Yeah, if the tires are well kept, the rubber can still look pretty good. I've seen 40, 50-year-old spare tires that looked good, but what does good really mean? Anyway. Foliato is here with us and commented to say, I've got a 74 Trail Duster half door if anyone is interested. Cool. Not quite my thing. My coworker, Evan, is very much into those. He's got 2. They are kind of rough projects / parts, just depending on which way he decides to go. But I don't know if he's in the market to buy a nice one. Can't say. But that sounds pretty cool. Todd's Dodge Garage is with us and says, what's happening, my A-body friend? It's been a while. More B-body stuff when? First-gen chargers? Are you buying yours back? A good investment is a first-gen charger. Good investment would have been a first-gen charger a few years ago and then sell it now. But unfortunately, I sold mine last year. No, I'm not buying that back. I'll buy it back someday if Dave wants to part with it. But I've got a 68. I don't need that. I really like the first generation charger. Don't get me wrong. When I first saw them, I kind of thought they were ugly and awkward looking with the tall roof. They grew on me. Obviously, they grew on me. I really like them. I've had a couple. That one being my flagship car for many years. But and there are many, many neat things about it. But the right one to me was always the 68, and now I have that. So I probably won't be buying another early charger. But if I get another opportunity to own mine, but way better some years from now when Dave's bored with it, yeah, I'll do that. More B-body stuff. I did post a late B-body video yesterday, so I feel like that counts. My charger, my 68 is currently in the garage. It's got a bad spark wire that's arcing out to the engine, so I need to fix that. It's got a leaking valve cover, has since the day I bought it, so I need to fix that. It has some other things that I need to do. And then another really, really silly thing that I would like to do. And I paid Rooster enough money that I probably should do that. So we'll see how that goes. Long term, I'm planning an engine compartment restoration for that car. And I will soon have a video on fixing it up. I drove it out to Rocket a few times this year. It did really well. Obviously, I made the corn dog video. That wasn't too long ago. But it just needs a little elbow grease right now. So I'm not driving it currently. And I absolutely need to drive it more this summer. So that will be coming. Rooster says, I have a YouTube question for you. How the hell do you change your picture? I'm sick of the snow blowing pic. I hate snow. Yeah, we've been looking at that snow blowing pic for quite a while. So if you're on a computer, you go to YouTube Studio and you can do it right there. Hold on, I'll even tell you what button to click. Your channel. Customization. It's under customization in Studio. And I think it's under basic info. Or maybe it's under branding. Hold on. It's under branding. Yeah. So in YouTube Studio on your laptop, on the left side, click customization in that little menu. And then it'll say layout, branding, basic info. Click branding. And then you'll see your picture right there and you can change it. Then we won't know who you are anymore. Tulsa had a question about 66.7 charger pricing. I can't say I'm an expert in that right now. Apparently it's going up. But I don't know, actually. I was asked about this recently for another reason that I can't share with you yet. Maybe never, but we'll see. It was an early charger with the right number of pedals, which was pretty exciting. But we were trying to figure out what the heck is this thing worth. And it's a tough call. It's a really tough call. And that car needs a lot. It's not a driving car. It's a project. But even there, I don't know. I feel like my 66 that I sold to Dave, I had tried to sell it 3 times. I had it listed on Facebook 3 times over the years. Never sold. And I was down to like $7,000 or something. And then I decided, you know what? I'll just keep the damn thing. I'm in it like 10. So I did. And then I went more into it, did the Magnum, and then did the 4-speed. And then right about the time the 4-speed was done, I guess I was just finished with it. A few months later, I sold it to Dave. But I think when I sold it to him, we did a part trade deal. We were pretty much both agreed it was somewhere in the 10 to 12 range. And that was almost a year ago. So now I don't know. Now that car, it had a little rust. The trunk floor, actually, the trunk floor was quite bad around the wheel wells from the leaking corners of the window. Apparently that's common on those. Back windows leak. And lower quarters a little bit, floors a little bit. They were getting Swiss cheesy. But, you East Coast guys, it wasn't what you think of when I say rust. All very fixable stuff, which he's maybe done with by now. But anyway, I mean, a nice driver, I feel like can still be had for mid-teens, you know, if you don't need, well, you don't need a Hemi car. Let's just agree on that now. Let me see if there are any available for me to like look at and really finish my opinion on this. I didn't do that right. Didn't do that right at all. I'm so bad at stuff. Yeah, I don't know anything. I feel like mid-teens to lower 20s for a decent drivable car. Yeah, there are none listed in my area right now to even look at. Interesting. Ooh, there's 71 Dart, but for that price, that's a sedan. 71 Scamp, which is super cool. I need to stop looking at this. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. They're worth more than Barracudas. They're B-bodies. They're great. Having a big block, big plus, 3 pedals. Whew, cool. But, you know, they're still not 68 to 70 Chargers. So for the cost of like a horrible project, 68, or like not the most horrible, but it still needs all the normal Charger rust fixed, and it probably doesn't have an engine. It might have a title if you're lucky. For the same price, you could get a driving 66 or 7. So, you know, mid-teens, low 20s, I guess. Joe Stevens dropped in with us and said, greetings from Maple Valley. Greetings from Aberdeen. How you doing there? Dan says, oh, yeah, and I know this. Yeah, 74 half-door Ram Chargers and Trail Dusters have a following. They're first year and unique. Still had big blocks, AM/FM 8-track with memo record and NP445 transmissions. Very cool. The 445 is the road box, right? The different gearing in it. It's otherwise essentially the same. I have seen one of those with a CB, a stereo / CB factory option. Super rare, as I understand. Rooster says, I talked to you about the Challenger. Excuse me. If it's not stupid expensive, buy it back. It's got that whole vanishing point thing going on. Then you'll be A, B, C, E, F. I said, more, you have more. Well, I'm good at things. YT Viewer, a longtime watcher of the channel, says, love the videos from this weekend. Great stuff. Awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciated your comments. Of course, I did respond to them. Thanks for being with us. Wow, I actually made it the whole 2 hours. It's pretty much time to go. I'm going to get through these last few comments. Good night to you, Dan. You take it easy. Scott says, can't hear you, but it might be because the volume is off as always. Yeah, that checks out. Cave Dave says, I'd like to see more C-bodies, hot rods. I have a 65 Plymouth Sport Fury 3D3 4-speed convertible I can barely give away. Dang, that's a bummer. I'd love to have a 65 Plymouth Sport Fury 2-door hardtop. I'm not a convertible guy. I'm just not, you know. I love a hardtop roof. And 65 Sport Fury, that would be a good one. I love those. Danberg says, I still think you should get a Dodge Colt and put a 226/6 in it. Dan, that sounds like what I call a lot of work with very little reward. It would be fun, but why? Joe Stevens says, oh, cool. Picked up a 78 Power Wagon yesterday and a 74 Duster today. I'm on a roll. Well, welcome to the club. And the club is diseased Mopar hoarders. I'd say it's good to be here. Yeah, you know, it has its moments. It's all right. But thank you very much for joining us here. I do have to check out. It's about that time. I'm hungry, man. And remember, flammable and inflammable mean the same thing. George Labarge says sheet metal, check with Graveyard Cars. Graveyard Cars doesn't make sheet metal. I don't even think they resell sheet metal. They buy it from AMD like everybody else does. And AMD doesn't make early Barracuda stuff. They do have a yard full of cars back there. I don't know if you could just call them and say, hey, I need sheet metal for a 65 Barracuda, and they will be able to help. Honestly, they're, I think, more oriented toward the legendary muscle cars. But, you know, I don't know. I've Never tried to do that. Wildcat Auto Wrecking is also always a good option for Junkyard Mopar specific parts. They have all kinds of good stuff, but not everything. And sheet metal, I don't know. They're still in the Northwest. Thank you very much for being here, everybody. It is time to go. Give my voice a rest. Maybe I can find some whiskey or some tea. See what we can do on that front. Timothy Russell says, have a good night. Hope you feel better soon. Me too. Night, JMR and Rich. HR, thank you very much for being here. Dan says you survived 2 hours. Hope you feel better tomorrow. Me too. Me too. And Canadian Big Mac says, good night from Canada. Good night, my friend. No music tonight for obvious reasons. We'll resume that next week. Take it easy, everybody. Put the whiskey in the tea. Yes, that will solve the problem. And put the